Welcome back, everyone. My name is Carr, and this is Cars, Cards, and Coins. I really wanted to do a quarter video tonight, but I am unfortunately still waiting for the package to come in. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow or Friday. But I figured, hey, I have still got plenty of other things to talk about. So while we're waiting, I figured I would talk about mint sets, proof sets, because that's something that I see a lot of new collectors. Things like this right here. I see a lot of old collectors. These are fun. They're very fun to buy. They're very fun to have. But I figured, I would talk about that tonight. Talk about the different kinds and what they sell for and what I believe you should pay for them. But man, I have had an absolutely crazy day. So I work for this bank, and we go and we do repossessed houses, and I go in and change the locks, secure the house. Anyway, so I had to go to this address, 1602. And so I get there this morning and I look at the picture of the house, same house. So I go up and I start trying to get in the house. I finally get the front door open, so I start changing the locks, and I hear some sirens. I'm like, okay, okay. So I keep working, and a few seconds later, about a minute or two later, they come rolling in. My dumb A was at the wrong stinking house. They come up there, just guns a-blazing, and I look at the picture and I'm trying to explain to them, obviously, hands up, and all that, and they detained me, and I'm trying to explain to them what I'm doing, and finally I'm like, look at the paperwork, and look at the picture of the house, and so they start looking at it, and they're like, okay, one little thing here, buddy. I was supposed to be at 1602. I went to 1206, and what's crazy is if you look at the house, it was the most unbelievable thing. They looked exactly the same toys, the same steps, the same porch, everything. But the people had a security system. So they were watching me breaking in. They were watching me the whole time. And oh my God, I could not believe I could not believe I did that. So I ended up, they ended up calling and verifying everything, and it did have a happy ending. But I've been doing this a long time, and I just cannot believe that I did that. But anyway, so mint sets, proof sets, commemorative dollars. They're all fun to have. They're all fun to have. Little trinkets like this. Pirate coins. Modern, more, not 100, more modern, coins. And everybody right now, everybody's panicking. It's the funniest thing. Everybody's panicking right now because they quit making they're going to stop making the cent. And I don't blame them, because it costs a lot more money to make one than what a cent is worth. So I don't blame them, but what I can say is, if you look at how many cents or in pennies, whatever, are in circulation, you know, and the day may come where they start making them again, or the day may come when they stop making the nickel. I mean, that's nothing to be worried about or panicked about at all. Dollar's not going away. People, they're trying to get rid of the dollar, and eventually that will happen. Eventually, but not in my lifetime, and more than likely not in your lifetime. And it's because the system, even I will admit, we do use debit cards, credit cards. We do use all that stuff a lot in our everyday transactions. But the dollar is still ingrained deeply, deeply into our system. So for them to genuinely do a switch, a lot of people try to act like it can be done overnight. No way. Cannot be done. It can be phased out over a very long period. I'll have to do more research on it and get some actual numbers. But them stopping making the penny is nothing to be worried about. And with how many are currently are in circulation, they would not have to make another penny for 10 years. People start hoarding them. They're not even worth, they're just copper layered. There's no one's going to hoard them because they're not even copper. They're just, I think, zinc or, with a thin copper coating. But it's nothing. It is nothing to be upset or worried about. Dollar is not going anywhere, not anytime soon. It will be phased out over time. That day will come, no question. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Not in my lifetime. I'm 40 years old. Well, I will be 40 in May. And I do not believe it will happen in my lifetime. It's kind of the same with the people saying silver's going to $500. Yeah, eventually it will happen. But, it's taken it 55 years, 60 years to get from $1 to 32. And that's that's the way silver operates. And it has done its job. It's kept up with inflation. And that's what it's going to do over the next 50 years. It'll be $60, $70. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about mint sets and proof sets. These are very fun to have. Like, this is my birth year. This is my wife's birth year. I think this is my, I don't want to be mean and say the wrong thing here. I forgot whose birth year these were. My son's birth year. My nephew. I think this is also one of my nephews. But I buy them personally. I buy my brother Dan. I buy these personally for that reason. I do it to commemorate something. And the reason why is you have to be very, very careful what you pay for something like this. If you go to any coin shop, you can go to just about any coin shop and you will see stacks of these things. Let's say I needed some money and I wanted to go sell this right now. And I took it to a coin shop. So there's 50, 75, 85, 91 cents. They're going to want to pay me about $1.50, maybe $2. And they're going to try to sell it for $3 to $5, depending on what shop you go to. They are awesome to have. They are fun to have. These are not worth anything. They're just not. The day may come when the dollar is gone. Coins are gone, where they might be. But if, and there is a difference, and this is when you go to buy them, you have to, if you are not buying them for a birth year or something to that effect, you have to ask, are they silver? These are silver. These are worth a little more money because they are silver. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So you got about $27, $28 worth of silver right here. And normally, because you have, there goes the COA. So normally you have 30, 40, about 30, 40, about $45 worth of silver. So these typically sell for about a $10 to $12 premium. And if you're gonna take this to a coin shop and sell it, they're gonna usually want to pay you maybe $1 or $2 premium is about what they'll pay for them. But if you're gonna buy these for the silver, you have to be aware that they are not all silver. So you have to ask if you're buying it on a string, or if you're buying it like from eBay or somewhere like that. And if normally on eBay they'll have it in the listing. But if they don't, you need to ask. If you don't know how to tell right away. I mean, I've been doing it long enough, and I'm sure a lot of people that see this video, you've been doing it. You can tell the ones that are silver, the years that are silver, and the ones that are not. But typically, not silver will be in blue. Silver will be in red. And the ones that are these, purple, blue, black, and it just says United States proof set. It doesn't say anything about silver on it. They're not silver, they're just clad. And there is a big, huge difference in the price. Like this one right here, and somebody wrote $24.60. I did not write that. This is not $24.60. This is about, $10. And if you took it to a coin shop to try to sell it, they're going to want to pay you just a little over the face value of what's in here. So you got, say $2.50 in there, or $2 and, I'd have to pull it back out. $2.75 or $1.70, $1.89, whatever's in here, they're going to want to pay you just a little over that. And you also, another thing that you got to watch out or think about when you're buying proof sets is buying proof sets that are in a case like this. There is a difference. This is an original 1955 proof set. This is a 1963 proof set. All the coins in here are proof. They are all 1963. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they all, these could have been pulled from different sets like this. This is 100% original. This is, if you were back in 1955 and you ordered a proof set from the mint, this is exactly what would come in the mail. And when you get them original, like this, they are worth more money. Especially some of the dates. I should have wrote down some of the dates, because there is a big price difference in the dates. That's something that you can look at. like this 1955. It is a better date proof set. 1963, very common. Very common. 1962, very common. 1962, very common. Let me see here. I thought I had a... Okay, I didn't get them out. Well, 1962, 1963 is very common. 1955, it's semi-key. It's a semi-key date. It's not like the 51 or the 52. This is, these are worth a little over the melt value. So, well, not a little over the melt value. That's wrong. Because there's 10, 15, 16, 17. That's about $20 in melt, and these are about $35. This one is about $120. So there, you just have to, before you start buying, if you're buying them and you're going to start spending some, in the hundreds, it's better to check what the date is, before you just jump in and buy it. And when it comes to the mint proof sets, it's, color normally will tell you, but it also says it right on the box. And there is a giant price difference. $60, $10. These, $3 to $7. $6 is really, $5 to $6 really is about what you should. They're fun to have. They're awesome to have. They're beautiful coins. No question about that. But they're, unfortunately, the only value that they really have is, the word I'm thinking of, but they, like this one is 89, so this is my wife's birth year. And they're just beautiful coins. And they are very beautiful coins. But you just have to learn the price differences. And also, we've got proof. These right here, proof American Silver Eagle, same thing. Dates is everything. These normally will sell about $50, 50 to 75. But there are some dates, coins are worth way more money. I should have written the dates down, but I didn't. So if you're gonna buy it, if you want to buy the rarer dates, before you go and make the purchase, and let's say someone has this one listed for, and this right here is a 2016. So let's say someone has it listed on eBay for $300. You just, before you, jump up and buy it, just go to the sold section on eBay and see what these things are selling for. And this one right here is not a rare date. So it should be about $75. These right here are silver, 1 ounce silver presidential dollars. When you buy something like this, try to make sure it comes with the box and the COA. That will give it a little more value. I think the last sold on one of these, this is a Monroe and this is a Washington, I think is about $50. So you also want to be careful. You don't want to overpay. There's people right now asking, I think on eBay, I think somebody is asking 50 and I think somebody else is asking 85. 85 is a little high because the last sold was 50. So you want to try to keep it if you can. Now, if you are collecting these, because they do have a set, I think there's, 10 in the set. I may have that wrong. And you're missing one coin and you see it for $85 and it's the last one you need. You got to do what you got to do. This right here is an 18 the 1989 Olympic commemorative dollar. With commemorative silver dollars, you just got to really be careful with these. They are typically worth a little bit over melt value. They're not typically worth a lot at all. Having it in the case, helps it a little bit, but it's just not. They're just not worth a whole lot, other than the silver that's in them. And it's the same with this. And this is another thing you need to understand, is this is another commemorative dollar, and it's worth a little bit over the melt value. So 20, the melt would be about $25, so 28, 29, maybe 30, But if you see a set like this, you got to remember that the half dollar is not silver. It's just clad. This is not silver. You can see, if you look on the rim, you can see the copper. This is just clad copper. So you don't want to, see one listed for $30 and think, oh goodness, man, I'm getting $45 worth of silver. Because you're not. You're just getting, the dollar is silver, but the half is clad. And with stuff like this right here, like this kind of stuff is fun to have, and it really is. But you have to be careful with stuff like this. This is a Mike Tyson, card, silver. I think this is a Cook Island. Yes, this is a Cook Island dollar. It's actually, they say legal tender. But when let's say you go and buy some of these, they could sit on eBay for a long time before you sell it. I think I paid $85 for this. I bought it because the streamer, I like the streamer, so, it's just cool to have. It's fun to have. I'm a collector, but if I tried to sell it, it would sit probably for a little. Now, it could sell immediately, but chances are it would sit for a while before it sold. Just because of what it is. It's just a unique item. You have to be a Mike Tyson fan really to pay for it. And this right here is a pirate. It's just a pirate coin. Spanish Air, bronze. And, the grading company, you got to be careful with the grading companies. This is just I don't want to say a knockoff grading company, but it's, not NGC, PCGS, CAC. So it having been, in this, International Numismatic Bureau case doesn't add any value to it. And that is my handwriting. I put $20 on it. And, I would say realistically 10 to 15. But you got to be careful buying stuff like this, just for the same reason as the Mike Tyson is when you go to, if you had a hard time and you needed to sell, that it's just going to be hard to sell it. And when it comes to stuff like this, this would never sell. If I needed to get my money back out of it, that is, if you scan the barcode, that is what PCGS said. $20 is what PCGS says it's worth. No one's ever going to pay $20 for that. It's not going to happen. I paid $7 for it. That's what I paid. And you have to be careful, unless you're buying a more modern coin like this. Typically, you want to buy it to go in a book. It's pretty. You're getting it cheap. That's what PCGS says it's worth. I would have to find someone that needed a 76D and wanted a nice one to go in their book, to get anywhere near $25. So before you spend, and I'm already at 25 minutes, goodness. But before you start spending a bunch of money or any money at all on proof sets, just take a step back and do a little bit of research. Make sure that you understand, and I'm trying to give a little information right now, but understand that they're not all the same. There's a giant price difference between these two. There's a big price difference between this one and this one. Yeah, the date has, but if this 62 was in one of these, and I think in 62, I think they came in the yellow envelope. That would also help, change the price a little bit. Not a lot, but it would definitely help the price. Now, these, somebody gonna have to tell me in the comments. They're just beautiful. I like having them. I personally don't think the day's ever gonna. I mean, I know you in South Dakota, you can. I haven't been to South Dakota, but they say you can take this to South Dakota and use it. I don't think the day's ever gonna come where we're using these. To be completely honest, I think this is more of a novelty than it is anything. Yeah, I understand you can take them. From what I've been told, I've never actually tried it myself. New Hampshire. Yeah, go to New Hampshire and you can spend it. Now I think Florida's doing it. But I don't see the day ever coming where we take these and instead of having a dollar bill in my wallet, I have this. But, I'm not, I have some. I mean, I'm not against using it. But that's my take on the gold. I personally think they're more of a novelty than they are of anything that will ever really truly be used. I think before we go to the gold standard, back to the gold standard, which would drive gold to $50,000 an ounce and drive silver to $5,000 an ounce. I think that they'll go to cryptocurrency long before we go to anything like that. And then stuff like this. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. You have to be extra careful purchasing stuff like this because they always want over $100 for something like this. And a same exact thing. I mean, just if you get in a pinch and you have to sell it, you're going to have to sit on it for a little while. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You could list it and then immediately someone buy it. Yes, that can happen. But they're fun to have. They're awesome to have. Beautiful coin, very cool. My wife, when she was a teenager, she used to have a poster of Bloom on her wall. But just, and I'm a Legos fan. Legos. But it's just the same thing. I mean, if you go to sell it, you need the money. You just have to be prepared before you start buying stuff like this. You just need to understand that. It's not like silver or gold, ounces where you list it today and sell it in a few minutes. I mean, it's typically probably going to sit there. So you don't buy stuff like that to save money. You don't buy stuff like this to invest. This isn't the route right here. This is collecting stuff right here. And in my opinion, I don't think you should be buying these. Personally, I don't think we're ever going to use. I think you buy them, and I do. I have a bunch of them. I mean, I'm not saying that no way the day will ever come. But I personally, I didn't buy any of them thinking I'm ever going to use it. I bought them because I got a good price on them, and I think they're beautiful. I think they're awesome. But you just have to be. It's stuff like this. You just want to take your time and you know, do a little research. Make sure you understand exactly what you're getting. Make sure you know exactly, that's what this is all about. Understand what you are buying. And there's one thing, I'm at 30 minutes. There's one thing I could ever get through to people. One thing. There's one thing I beg you to understand. If you do not hold it, you do not own it. There are some wonderful silver bullion, gold bullion companies. There really are some wonderful companies. I am nowhere near got the status to call names. There are so many horrible bullion companies. You call to make an investment and they're going to sell you stuff like this. You know, this is the kind of stuff they're going to sell you. You know, they're going to sell you something like, you know, it'd be gold, you know, but that's what they're going to try to sell you. Put in your IRA. I am telling you right now, I don't care what company it is. If you don't hold it, then you don't own it. Why do we buy silver as a savings account or as an investment? Why do we do it? We all say it. We all know it. We buy it because it is wealth you can hold in your hand. And let me tell you, friends, if you're not holding it, you're not owning it. You don't own it. You know, before you go and make some huge IRA transfer, you better really do your due diligence on the company that you're doing it with. I am at 32 minutes. I hope I did a good job. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any, anything I missed or anything I didn't say right, I really appreciate y'all watching the video. Please like and subscribe. And I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great night.